It's 11:47 p.m. You're standing under the buzzing lights of a gas station and your card just got declined for a $4 coffee. The cashier sighs, you mumble something about a bank error and start digging through your wallet for loose change. That's when your fingers hit it. A crumpled ticket, tucked in the corner, bought 11 days ago on a whim because the jackpot sign outside made you laugh. $600 million. You remember thinking, someone's going to win that, not me. You pull it out to throw it away, but something makes you stop. You open your phone instead. You check the numbers. The first one matches. Your hand goes still. The second one matches. Your chest tightens. By the fifth number, you've forgotten how to breathe. You are standing in fluorescent light, holding a piece of paper worth more than your entire family has earned in 3 generations combined, and not one person on Earth knows it yet. You have 60 seconds to make the biggest decision of your life. You don't know that yet, but you're about to make it anyway. You slide the ticket back into your wallet. You pay for the coffee and loose coins. You walk out into the parking lot, and somehow your body feels like it belongs to someone else now. You don't tell anyone. That single choice, made in a gas station at midnight, half on instinct, becomes the rule that governs the rest of your life. You don't know that yet either. You just feel it, the way you feel a storm coming before the sky changes. The second this becomes known, you stop being you. You become a target, a cause, a number in someone else's plan for their own life. So you disappear before anyone finds out you're gone. The next morning, you drive across state lines to claim it anonymously. You spend the night before with 15 browser tabs open, blind trusts, anonymity statutes, single-purpose LLCs until 4 in the morning. By sunrise, you've built a paper wall between yourself and the money, a trust with a name that means nothing. You are not its face, you are its shadow. The lottery office is quiet in a way that feels almost hostile. A woman in a gray blazer checks your ticket twice. Her eyebrows twitch, barely, when it comes back real. Lump sum or annuity? You already know your answer. After the cut, you're walking away with over $300 million. Your hand shakes through 4 signatures, and when you step back outside, on paper, you're still the same broke 29-year-old who drove in that morning. That's the whole plan. Stay the same on paper, become someone else entirely underneath it. That night, you sit on your apartment floor and laugh until you cry, and then keep crying long after the laughter runs out, because somewhere in there, joy turned into something closer to fear. You know something now that no one else does, and that kind of knowledge has weight. It sits behind your ribs like a second heartbeat. Week 1, you change nothing. Same shift at the hardware store, same ramen on Tuesdays. Your roommate asks to borrow $20 for gas. You could buy him the car outright and never feel it, and instead you just hand him the bill like it's the last one in your wallet. That's when it hits you. The performance never stops. Not for a day, not for an hour. Every conversation becomes a small act of theater, and you are the actor and the only member of the audience who knows the ending. You hire an attorney with no connection to your real life, in a city you've never lived in. He doesn't need your name on the paperwork. He needs it kept off of it. 3 weeks in, you quit your job. A better offer out of state, you say, and nobody questions it, because nobody ever questions an ordinary explanation. You move to a city where no one recognizes your face, a modest 2-bedroom rented under a corporate name, a 4-year-old car paid for in cash through the trust, never through you. By every visible measure, you are unremarkable. Underneath, the machine runs quietly. Index funds, municipal bonds, real estate spread across 3 states through shell entities with forgettable names. You're worth more than the mayor of your new city. You eat gas station sandwiches for lunch, because nothing draws less attention than a $5 sandwich. This is where the psychological cost starts to show up. You start noticing things you never noticed before. How people's eyes catch on a nice watch. How a stranger clocks an expensive car in a parking lot. You understand, for the first time, why people hide money. Because visible wealth doesn't just get admired, it gets claimed. You think about your mother constantly, about calling her, hearing her voice break with relief that she'll never worry about her mortgage again. Instead, you route it anonymously, a fake grant program, a letter in the mail 2 months later. She calls you crying, thanking a stranger who doesn't exist. You act surprised. You hate how good you've become at lying to the people you love. That's the real cost, not the money, the distance. Your best friend is struggling to make rent, and you could fix it in 4 seconds with one transfer. You don't, because the moment you do, the truth starts to unravel, and once it unravels, it never goes back in the bottle. You begin to understand that this kind of money isn't freedom. It's a cage with very soft walls. 4 months in, you make your first real mistake. At a bar with people who don't know your past, someone jokes about what they do with $100 million. 2 drinks in, loosened by months of isolation, you say the wrong thing. I'd never tell anyone, not a soul. The way you say it makes a woman named Dana go quiet. That's oddly specific, she says. You laugh it off, but you go home with your heart pounding, replaying the sentence 50 times, wondering if you just handed someone a thread to pull. This is the moment you understand. The truth doesn't need to be spoken to become dangerous. A look, a tone, one sentence delivered with too much conviction. People are more perceptive than you ever gave them credit for before you had something to hide. You build a second self, almost without meaning to, quieter, duller, a version of you designed to never say anything memorable enough to repeat. 6 months in, the money starts doing what money does. The trust generates almost $40,000 a day in passive returns. $40,000 a day. You sit with that number at 2 a.m. sometimes, and it doesn't feel real because you're still checking grocery prices out of 11 years of habit. A new kind of loneliness sets in. Not the absence of people, but the absence of anyone who actually knows you. Every relationship exists downstream of a lie. You start to wonder if the person people like is even real, or just a character built to protect $300 million. Then Dana calls. Not about the money, a mutual friend's birthday, but seeing her name on your phone drops your stomach the way a police car in your rearview does, even when you've done nothing wrong. At the party, she corners you near the kitchen, casual, smiling. I looked something up. There's an unclaimed jackpot filed anonymously through a trust around the same time you moved here. Your blood goes cold. People do that all the time, you say, steadier than you feel. Sure, she says, and lets it drop. You don't. You spend 3 weeks combing through every filing your attorney made, hunting for any thread back to your name. You find none. Dana was guessing, a sharp, dangerous guess, but a guess. You understand something now that you didn't at the gas station. Secrecy isn't a single decision. It's a discipline, one you have to practice every day for the rest of your life. You go back to work, a low-stakes project manager job, because an unemployed 29-year-old with no income raises questions, and an employed one doesn't. You start to actually enjoy the normalcy. Clocking in, complaining about meetings, packing a lunch while your net worth compounds quietly behind a wall no one can see. A year passes. Your mother's house is paid off. Your sister's tuition is funded. College accounts sit waiting for your niece and nephew, structured to stay untraceable for a decade. From the outside, your life looks like someone doing fine. Not rich, fine. Inside, you carry the full weight of knowing you could change 10 lives tomorrow with a single signature, and you don't because the same discipline that protects the fortune is the discipline that keeps you unknowable to everyone around you. You finally understand why people with this kind of money vanish into privacy. It's not arrogance, it's survival. The moment the number goes public, you stop being a person and start being a resource everyone feels entitled to negotiate with. 18 months in, you meet someone, real feelings, the kind you haven't let yourself have since the gas station. 4 months into that relationship, one question starts eating you every night. Do you tell her, or do you let this go the way everything else has? Protected, distant, hidden. The version of you that existed before that ticket would have told her everything on the second date, laughing, reckless. This version sits across from her at dinner, listening to her talk about her day, quietly calculating whether the secret could survive her knowing it. You still don't have an answer. You run the numbers, the risks, the loneliness against the fear every night, and there's no clean solution, just the same question from that gas station parking lot, except now it has a face, a heartbeat, something that might be love. So here's the question, because you can't ask anyone else without changing everything. If you had $300 million and someone you loved was sitting across from you tonight, completely unaware, would you finally tell them the truth? Or would you let the silence protect you for one more year?